Imagine a typical day in Western Australia. A 25-year-old man, we'll call him the quad bike rider, is out for what should be a regular ride. He's on his Kawasaki KFX 400 quad bike, making his way along Pessoa Road in the Nangarapine State Forest. But then, on that very same road, we've got another rider, the motorbike rider, zipping along on a Suzuki RM 250 motorbike. And here's where things take a turn. Instead of sticking to his side of the road, the motorbike rider drifts onto the wrong side. The two riders collide head-on. The quad bike rider is left with serious injuries. We're talking a closed head injury with edema in the right parietal lobe, a fractured left clavicle, open fractures to his left tibia and fibula, bruising across his body, and soft tissue injuries to his neck, shoulders and hips. It's bad. His life is changed instantly. So they go to court. The quad bike rider needs compensation to cover his injuries and the long-term effects. But here's something interesting. The motorbike rider doesn't even show up to the trial. He's been notified, given multiple chances to attend, but for whatever reason, he decides not to. What happens next? Well, the court decides to move forward without him. Now here's where it gets technical. The court had to assess how much compensation the quad bike rider deserved. This wasn't just a simple, here's some money, move on situation. His injuries were serious, and they weren't going away anytime soon. Medical experts weighed in, saying he'd need future surgeries to fix the damage, including a shoulder operation to excise the outer aspects of the clavicle and removal of tibia nails. And he was going to be on pain medication for the foreseeable future. Things like Nurofen Zavance and Panadol. So, what about his work? Before the accident, the quad bike rider had worked in various roles. He didn't complete his apprenticeship as a motor mechanic, but had worked in general maintenance on transport equipment. At the time of the accident, he was employed as a shift miller, earning about $1,000 per week. He had completed Year 10, but had no formal qualifications. Despite this, he had a strong work ethic and was making progress in his career, but after the accident, his ability to work was severely impacted. He couldn't go back to the same job, and his future earning capacity was significantly reduced. The court looked at all of this, the injuries, the impact on his work and his quality of life. They determined that he was entitled to $968,464 in compensation. Let's break that down. $90,000 for general damages, basically the pain and suffering. $469,519 for past loss of earnings. $169,292 for future loss of earnings, since he couldn't continue working like before. $17,336 for future medical treatment, because as the doctors explained, he'd need more surgeries. Then there were amounts for past and future care, as well as interest of $200,534. Now, it's important to understand that this case wasn't just about numbers. It was about the long-term impact on the quad bike rider's life. He'd lost his ability to enjoy the things he used to do, sports like fishing, badminton and football. Activities with his kids were no longer possible, and his independence was severely affected. The injuries even impacted his relationship with his partner, including their intimate life. So, what's the takeaway here? It's a reminder that accidents like this can have life-changing consequences, and the legal system steps in to make sure those affected get the support they need. And as for the motorbike rider, well, he chose not to show up, but the court still made sure justice was served. In the end, the quad bike rider was compensated, but no amount of money could fully restore what he lost. This case is a real-life example of how courts assess compensation for personal injury claims in Western Australia. It's about considering not just the physical injuries, but the ongoing impact on someone's life, their ability to work, and their overall well-being. So, next time you're out riding, remember, stick to your side of the road. And if you ever find yourself in a situation like this, know that the courts will take every factor into account when determining what's fair.